Hi guys, I'm going to show you today how I'm making this really cute fingerless glove with this beautiful stitch. And we're going to be adding a beautiful detail at the end to kind of finish them off. But I really like this stitch, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm doing that today, okay? So because I still have a lot of this 1 pound Premier Just 1 pound yarn in the color denim, and you guys know that I made my beautiful slouchy hat with it, I really wanted to make a matching set of gloves since I am still out here in the cold Florida. So we're gonna start with a 4mm hook, and I'm going to just chain 32, 3 and 4, and I'll see you at the end of 32. Okay, I finished 32 chains here. I'm going to skip the one closest to my hook, and into the next one I'm going to just do a single crochet, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to skip the next stitch here, and we're going to single crochet into the next and chain 1 again, and continue to skip the next and single crochet into the next, chain 1, skip the next, single crochet into the next, and chain 1. Continue doing this. This is the moss stitch. We're going to do this to the end of the row, okay? By the end of that row, you should have 16 single crochets. And if you start with a number of even chains, you should end up with a single crochet at the end. So just depending on the length of your glove, for example, I determined that I needed 32 chains because that's where I kind of want my glove, my fingerless glove, to be around here. So if you measure it, let me take this hook off, over your hand here, it could be around here, and then the cuff will be down here, okay? So if you want it to be shorter, not so high up into your fingers, you can do less chains. But for me, 32 seemed to work perfectly, okay? So that is how I determined that, okay? So at the end of my row, I finished with a single crochet, and I'm going to go ahead and do my chain 1 as usual, and I'm going to do 1 more chain, okay? So we're gonna turn our work, okay? And this could be a little tricky because of the yarn color, but we're going to be single crocheting into those spaces. This was my single crochet here, and I have a space here for my chain 1, so I'm gonna go into that space with my single crochet and chain 1. And then in the beginning, I had to kind of pull my yarn a little bit to kind of see. So this is my single crochet, so this here is my space, single crochet and chain 1, and pull it again if you kind of need to see the space, and single crochet into that chain space, chain 1, and continue all the way to the end of the row, okay? Now you're going to continue doing this as many rows as you need for it to fit your hand. So let me show you what I have so far. I have a few rows here. I have 5, 10, 15. I have 17 rows. Let me move this project over here. Okay. 17 rows here so far, and I'm going to continue going till I have 25. That is how many I did to complete the other glove, okay? So remember, we are working like this, but once we put on the glove, we're going to turn it like this, and we have to make sure that this wraps around both sides here, right? This and this needs to meet. So clearly I'm not there yet, so I need more rows, okay? So I'll come back to you when I'm done with my 25 rows. Okay guys, I did 25 rows, and now I'm just going to I'm gonna leave the yarn attached here and just kind of slightly make sure that, yeah, this is going to reach to the other side, okay? So I know that this is going to be needing a stitch marker here and here, and I know that we will need one here and here, so I'll leave this alone for a minute. Okay, now when I did this one, I measured it on this hand with the thumb here, so I'm going to do it now with this hand to make sure the opening's in the right place. And I'm gonna just kind of stick my hand in here. Okay, this feels about right here. I could probably just make sure. This way. Yes, that feels better. Okay, so the shorter side here and then the longer side here. Okay, so yeah, that's about right. Okay, so I'm going to first measure where I want to cinch it here, right? So I'm just gonna do that, and then I am going to need to attach this here, right? So I'm going to just put a stitch marker here, and I'm going to just take it off and then just kind of gauge it for now, just so you don't lose your spot. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use this as my guide and make sure that it is around the same opening. You can count the stitches if you want. I feel like this is probably perfect right here. This will be here, and this opening might need a little bit more. Well, it's because of that stitch marker there. I think it's fine. I think it's gonna be fine like that. I think it's pretty good. Okay, so because this is attached here, I no longer need this. I'm gonna take that off, and I'm gonna slip stitch all the way up to this marker here. So slip stitch here, and then go here, and then here. Oops. Slip stitch here to here. I don't know what I did here. Oh, it's this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go right into that stitch, and then into the other side, and slip stitch here and pull this tight. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and slip stitch all the way till I get to the next stitch marker here. Need the next stitch, so I'm going to take this off to make it easier and go into the next. Okay, so what you do from here is just drop the back panel and just slip stitch your way up until the next stitch marker there. And here we are into that next stitch. I'm going to take the stitch marker, and now I'm going to attach it right on the other side with a slip stitch. And now we're going to continue to slip stitch on both panels here, and of course we're going to stop at that last stitch there at the end. I'm going to take this off. I have one more stitch here and one more stitch here. Okay, I'm going to chain one and cut my yarn. Okay, and we're not going to sew the ends yet, just we're going to make sure that it fits right. So you're going to have a seam here, so what you're going to do is turn it inside out. And this is what the opening looks like. And the seam stitch is barely there. And this is my glove. Fits like a glove. And this one, I feel like it's this way. Perfect. Yay, we finished our fingerless gloves. I love how these look. And now I'm going to show you a cute embellishment that you can add to these gloves, which will help for you to know which one is your left and which one is your right. And I will show you that next. Okay guys, so this is what I'm going to add to my glove. It's this beautiful puff stitch flower. She's puffed on the top but flat in the back because we're going to push these circles in. This way she kind of stays flushed on her glove. You can make her a different color. For me, I'm going to just keep her blue for now. So let me show you how I make this beautiful puff stitch flower. And I did leave a long tail at the end because I'm going to use this to attach or weave it into my glove. Okay, so we're going to start with a magic circle. We're going to make 15 into the ring. Okay, and we're going to be using 3 stitches per puff stitch. This puff stitch flower has 5, and we will use 3 per petal. Okay, so we're gonna have 1, 2, 7, 15, and we're gonna pull this circle close. Okay, and we're gonna slip stitch to that very first one. Okay, and from here we're gonna chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next stitch we're going to yarn over, and we're going to start a series of double crochets. Pull this as high as you can and start a double crochet, but don't finish it. So that's 1, yarn over into the same space again, start a double crochet but don't finish it. That's 2, yarn over, start a double crochet, go over 2, don't finish it. So that's 3, 4, and 6, you're going to have 2, 4, 6, 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 7. You're gonna immediately feel it curve inward like that, and that's perfect. And then we're gonna chain 4. 1, let me pull this yarn, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna slip stitch this into the next space to complete our puff stitch petal. And then we're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to slip stitch into there and then chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over and into the next space you're going to make all those double crochets. We're going to pull it up, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up another hoop, go through 2, that's twice, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we have all those 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 7, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go into slip stitch into, you may have to pull here to make sure that you're doing it, you don't skip a stitch here. Go slip stitch into that next one, and then slip stitch your way into the next one to begin your next petal. Continue doing this until you have 5 petals. I'll see you at the end. Making my last chain 4, and I'm gonna slip stitch into the next and slip stitch into the next if you need to there to kind of close things off. Chain 1 and leave a long tail for sewing, and that's it. You are done. You're going to be attaching these. I want mine to be like on the outside of the glove here versus the inside here. So you could just kind of mark where you want it to be. For example, I might want mine to be right there. Going to attach my yarn needle. Oops, I attached it to the wrong flower. So let's just switch flowers. Okay. And then I'm just going to attach from the center in here into the glove and just do a series of slip stitches in and out of the petals, going around like this until she's attached. And keep doing that till the end, okay? I'll show you at the end. Okay, this is looking good. This is how I attached my puff flower. She is adorable. I won't show you how to make the next one. You just repeat the same process over here and you'll have yourself a set of beautiful fingerless gloves. This is what they will look like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know that I sure did. I'll see you next time. Happy crocheting. Bye.